to Roughing It with Ruth, the channel where everything is a bit rough around the edges. Castle Gorge is a particularly beautiful area of the Magaliesberg Mountains. You can access it either from the southern slopes of the Magaliesberg Ridge or from the northern slopes of the Magaliesberg Ridge. On the southern side, you park at the Castle Gorge parking lot, and you need to buy a permit from the Johannesburg Hiking Club in advance if you want to go and hike there from that side. On the northern side, you park at the Magaliesberg Wilderness School, and you need to buy a permit to hike at Castle Gorge from the Magaliesberg Wilderness School as well. I'll put links in the video description to both of those websites. On weekends in summer, especially when the weather is good, it does get fully booked pretty quickly, so you might want to try and arrange your permits fairly far in advance. Castle Gorge is full of absolutely stunningly beautiful rock formations, and those rocks are part of the incredibly ancient rocks that form the Magaliesberg Mountains. There's also a lovely river that runs through the Castle Gorge area, and that has a few stunning waterfalls along it, and there are also quite a few pools where you can swim. Some of the pools that you can swim in have areas with rocks that allow you to jump into the pool from a bit higher up. I do just want to say here that you need to always check the pool that you're jumping into really carefully before you jump in, because sometimes, especially when the water is dark, you cannot actually see where the rocks might be, and you can really seriously injure yourself if you jump into water that is too shallow or that has a rock just under the surface. There are also some rock pools that you absolutely should not jump into because there's no way out of them once you've jumped into them. So always check the rock pool before you jump in and make sure that it is actually possible for you to climb out of the rock pool again once you're in the water. If you want to camp at Castle Gorge, there is a campsite, but you need to be part of the Johannesburg Hiking Club in order to camp there, or you need to be a guest of a member of the Johannesburg Hiking Club. Magaliesberg Wilderness School also has a wild camping campsite that you can book through their website, and their campsite is slightly more set up in terms of having two long drop toilets attached to the campsite. Both campsites are pretty close to a river, so there's swimming options at both campsites, and the Magaliesberg campsite is called the Waterfall campsite because it is about 50 meters from the Magaliesberg waterfall, which is really stunning, and it has a massive rock pool at the base of the waterfall that you can swim in. Something that I think is quite important to know about Castle Gorge before you go there is that the trails currently are not very well marked. There are a few cairns, C-A-I-R-N-S, which are rock piles made by people to mark ways to go through the veld. And there are a few little spray painted dots in some of the rocky areas that mark a way to go to the waterfalls. But the paths are pretty faint, and if you're not good at navigating, it is quite easy to get lost. What I recommend when you get a permit, particularly from the Magaliesberg Wilderness School, is make sure that you get a map of the area as well. You need to be able to read that map, and you need to be able to find where you are and navigate to where you want to be. Whichever direction you approach Castle Gorge from, whether it's the north or the south, you won't be making a circular route back to where you parked your car. You'll have to go into Castle Gorge, explore the Castle Gorge area, and then walk back out the way that you came. Quite a few people do end up getting lost, either coming from Johannesburg Hiking Club parking lot and walking all the way over the ridge and ending up at Magaliesberg, or the other way around, coming from Magaliesberg and walking all the way over the ridge to the Johannesburg Hiking Club parking lot. And that is quite far, and sometimes people are pretty exhausted at that point and not thrilled to discover that they now need to backtrack all the way back to their original starting point. Another thing to keep in mind is that baboons and vervet monkeys both occur in that area, so you definitely don't want to leave food unattended somewhere because it will motivate the monkeys and the baboons to break into your tent or your backpack to get at that food. Also, please remember that this is a sensitive environment, And other than the long drop toilets at the Maratwane campsite, which is quite far down at the base of the ridge, there are no other toilets at Castle Gorge. If you do need to use the loo, please go at least 50 meters away from campsites, trails, and water sources. Dig a hole that is at least 15 centimeters deep, and make sure that you bury all of your waste and all of your toilet paper when you're done. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to see more from me, then you can click on my channel name to see other videos that I've made in the past, or you can subscribe to my channel to see videos that I'm going to make in the future.